Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. So doing something a little bit different again today. Obviously I just finished my Inktober series and I have this beautiful drawing table still set up because I wanted to try and work a little bit more with some traditional mediums before I put it away. You can tell I just finished Inktober. I haven't even cleaned up yet. But as many of you know, I have an amazing friend who is a traditional artist, specifically an alcohol marker artist, and she came out with this coloring book at the start of October. I have not gotten a chance to really work with it yet. I did color a little bit in it just as like a little bit of stress relief. And I honestly, don't think I've used a coloring book since I was a kid. I've never used an adult coloring book, and this was fun. This was actually a lot of fun, and I've really been dying to get back into working with this. But this is Creative Kara's Galaxy Gals coloring book. It is an alcohol marker coloring book. Each page has a gorgeous Galaxy Gal on it that Kara designed and drew herself, and they are all perforated. You can tear them out and display them as you wish. All the pages are one-sided so that you can tear them out without having to worry about the piece on the other side. There are over 30 illustrations in this book. I believe I just counted 36. And I'm just so proud of Kara for being able to put this out. It is absolutely stunning. My favorite feature is when you open the book on a flat surface, it does lay flat. The spine is actually built so that you don't have to worry about the book like curling up as you're drawing. There's so much good art in here. I might just flip to a random page. Oh, I kind of forgot to say what we're doing. I'm coloring in this today. And not only am I coloring in this today, I am coloring in it with my Copic marker collection. So I genuinely am not entirely sure where I got these. I do not know how old they are. I do not know if they even still work, so I will have to be doing some swatching beforehand. But I figured that might be part of the fun of the video. Ooh, I have a blender. So I think first step is to go ahead and start swatching these to see how many of them actually work. And then we can pick out a coloring page. This sketchbook, I think, is almost entirely used up. So I'm just gonna use the back couple pages to do some swatching. Let's get started. This one I've been eyeing because it did seem to have a little bit of a leak, but also it's a really pretty color. This pad of paper is not meant for alcohol markers, so I have a feeling it's really gonna bleed through, but I'm just using the very back page here. Kara's book is actually made specifically for alcohol markers. Whoa! I was not expecting to get that kind of pigment. I suppose I should label these. R89. Kara's coloring book actually is made with alcohol marker paper. It's a really thick cardstock. I've actually tested it out myself with Sharpies, my lovely little Sharpie collection down there. If you have like a really intense marker, then it will actually like bleed onto the back of the next page, but there is absolutely nothing on this page. So the paper quality is really, really good. Shoot, what marker was that? R17? I have a feeling I'm gonna run out of paper space, so I think I'm just gonna do one swatch for each of them instead of swatching both sides. All right, that is all the markers swatched. I am so surprised that they pretty much all seem to be pretty juicy. The only ones that I felt were a little bit dry were the E74 and the B24, but like those colors are still pretty strong. I would use those. It looks like the only colors we're really missing is like a true red and something in the purple area, which is a little disappointing because this is a galaxy themed coloring book, so I would have liked to have purple, but I think we can make do with what we've got. I'm just gonna put that to the side. That'll be my little reference. And just really quick, because I don't have a lot of room to put these, I kind of want to put these in the best rainbow order that I can, just so I have a bit more of a visual idea of what I'm dealing with. All right, so again, don't have too much in the red spectrum, and looks like these two are my only like flesh tones, so I might have to get a little creative with that. And then we got a lot of gray. So not the best for a coloring book, but I'm gonna go ahead and make do with these. I think what I wanna do is pick out the page that we're gonna be doing and then try and pick some colors for that. And then that way I don't have this whole collection on my drawing table. So let's flip through the pages here. It's actually so amazing. I've been friends with Kara for a couple years now, and I've seen her whole journey with advertising this book, and she has colored on and advertised almost every single page in here, but for some reason I still missed this one. I had never seen this piece before prior to receiving this book, which was gifted to me, by the way, but I still bought another copy. This one is, of course, the front cover. Got a lot of hair in this one, but I want something with a little bit more body to it so I can kind of mess around with the markers a bit. I like this, but I'm afraid without a purple, that galaxy's just not gonna look right. Got this one, which is pretty cool. I could do kind of an underwater theme is what I'm thinking with all the bubbles here. I have enough blues for it. Maybe like a water themed one would be cool. Yeah, blues and grays is what I seem to have the most of. So something that would use those colors. Oh, I said I didn't want to do a lot of hair, but this is kind of screaming underwater to me. Actually, I think this one would be kind of fun. It's definitely space themed, but I feel like the dress would look really good in a dark blue. So maybe let's try this one. Okay, I definitely want to keep my blues, and I'm gonna do kind of a dark, medium, and light gray like we've been doing for the Inktober series. I really don't know how to do skin tones, but I'm gonna go ahead and grab both of these just in case I need them. Maybe a dark red, a light red. I'm gonna grab the yellow for the stars, and then maybe an orange to kind of blend in the red color, although this red is labeled lipstick orange, so, and then this is light rouge. I'm gonna grab both of them. I think that's all I need to keep on my desk. These ones can kind of stand off to the side. Alrighty. So usually when I'm coloring my digital work, the first thing that I start with is skin, but I'm kind of scared to do that. I don't really know. Maybe let's color the skin in with this tone. It's very pink, it's very peachy. So I think if I color in all the skin with this tone and then do some of like the blush and shading with the more red and orange tones, that'll be fine. So let's go ahead and start doing that. I'm also going to try and, ooh, scary, keep a little bit of a highlight line wherever I remember to. Because I started doing that on the later pieces in my Inktober series, and I really think it added something. So I want to try and make sure that I include that highlight line wherever I can. Okay, you know what? Not bad. I've always been really scared of alcohol markers because they are very intimidating to a lot of young artists. And I kind of just feel like since I didn't get into them young, they're just kind of scary for me because of that. But it's never too late to try something new. I tried to do a little highlight on the nose there, but I don't know if I like that. And I just covered it up anyway. I feel like I should explain for any new people watching this video, I am a digital artist, generally. I usually do not work with traditional art unless I am doing Inktober. That highlight kind of faded away too. I need to make sure to leave more of a gap for that. But I'm making an early New Year's resolution to myself to work with traditional mediums a bit more. So hopefully this can be the start into my journey of learning more about traditional mediums. You know, I've just noticed that there's a gray tone in this piece. Do the other pages have that? I'm not seeing any other pages with this gray tone. Ooh, I did just see there. I want to show you guys this. There's the marker coming through on the other side, but it's definitely not getting onto this page behind it. She's kind of looking a little too vibrant for my comfort zone. Generally, I work with very desaturated colors. I just find that it's easier on the eyes, but I'm kind of hoping that because Copic markers are so heavily saturated, at least from these swatches, it'll just kind of even itself out. I think I am going to exclusively work with the brush tip of these markers because I was working with the brushes on the Micron pens and the shape and texture on the Copics is very similar. So that's definitely what I'm the most comfortable with. I'm a little bit outside the lines here. Okay, so then, oh, I forgot her ear. Keep going outside the lines. I'm not used to coloring from a distance. With digital art, you can zoom right into your piece so you can see exactly where every pixel is, but with traditional art, you just kind of have to hope your eyesight's good enough. So I've got like the base layer down here. I'm kind of thinking what would happen if I used the same Copic and just did like a little bit of a shading layer, because I was doing this with the Microns and it was working pretty well. The Microns, I believe, are water-based markers and Copics are alcohol-based, so I don't know if this is gonna have the same effect or not. Okay, it looks good. Let's see. Let's wait till it dries and see how it looks. Oh, that's Okay, so this one I just did, it's still a little wet, but this one seems to have dried down, and it's definitely much more subtle than the Micron pens are when I use that technique. I just took the cap off one side to put it on the other side because I forgot that it was double capped. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this away for now because I want to start working on probably the dress. Kind of thinking I should do the stars first. The dress I think is gonna be a very stark, just yellow and blue. But I'm thinking since I know these bleed a lot, I kind of want to do the stars first so that I don't get any blue ink into my yellow pen. This is the lighter of the two yellows that I have. It's definitely like a highlighter yellow. And then I think next to like one of the more vibrant blues, the lighter yellow will hopefully look almost white. God, it's really hard to stay inside the lines actually. I'm just not used to coloring from a distance. I'm actually one of the only people of my family that does not need glasses for everyday life. But I did get my eyes checked once, and the eye doctor did say I had a very slight astigmatism, which from what I understand is a defect in the lens of the eye that kind of affects your ability to focus on things. It's the thing that if you look at lights, the lights kind of look streaky instead of hazy, but mine is very slight. However, every now and then when I'm really focusing into a piece, and especially on these kinds of things where I can't zoom in and my eyes start to get really tired, they will like twitch a little bit, which is more annoying than anything, but it's definitely usually my sign to go to bed. All right, glad I did the stars first because I went way out of the lines on most of that. But I think I'm actually gonna try and let those dry. I also did just notice she's wearing fishnets down here, which means I need to do more skin tone. There we go. I am just gonna go ahead and let the stars dry because I want to go back to the skin and I wanna try adding some blush. This is the part like that I am the most nervous about. I really don't know how this is gonna go. Usually when I add blush on my characters, it is pretty intense, but I have a feeling this is going to be a bit scary. I think I'm gonna start very light and very carefully, and I'm going to have this one on hand to kind of blend things into the skin. So I think we'll start, I usually start with the nose, but I kind of want to start with the lips this time. Just in case I mess it up, it'll look like lipstick, hopefully. Let's just go in right in the center here. Oh, that's very vibrant. Okay. And then I'm gonna take this one, kind of try to blend that out. It's wet. I gotta wait for it to dry. Is that bad? Did I ruin it? Oh, I'm very scared. Okay. Add a little bit more red in there. Because I realized as soon as I started blending that this is not like a smudge tool. In digital art, it is going to add more ink. So just like when I added the shading on the nose here, it's gonna make the skin darker around the lips as well. I do have those colorless blenders. I wonder if those are gonna be more helpful. From what I understand, all you have to do with these. Okay, we've definitely got some ink in this guy. So I kind of want to try using this and seeing if that helps blend things together. Did I ruin this? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna move on from the lips. I think I'm scaring myself. I'm testing my blending technique off camera. Okay, I gotta be careful with the colorless blender because it does seem like it's taking up some of the color in addition to blending it out. So I think I'm gonna continue with the light rouge, and I'm going to continue to use this to blend it unless otherwise necessary. Let's go in on the nose here, and then quickly go in with this one, blend it out. Okay. I think as long as I remind myself that this one is going to add some color, we should be good. Just kind of defining the bridge of the nose here as well. All right, okay, we're getting somewhere. I'm a little scared to do the cheeks because that is such a big part. So I'm gonna go ahead and do everything else first and then attempt the cheeks last. The more that it dries, the more I'm actually really happy with the result. The lips are still kind of screwed up, and I think it's because I used that colorless blender. I'm just gonna keep going with the technique that I was using, and hopefully I will get something close to the results that I want. I usually add a little bit of red to like the wrist and elbow, but I'm very nervous to do that. So I think I'm just gonna go in again with the pink and just shade it that way. Oops, oh, I got a little bit down there, my bad. Yeah, I think that's as brave as I'm gonna get with adding blush into the joints. If I had a better marker selection, I think I would have chosen a different red because this one is a little bit too orange for my liking. But unfortunately, I currently only have the colors that I have because who would be crazy enough to go out and buy a whole new set of markers just to color in one coloring book? In case it wasn't obvious, it's me. I'm that crazy. Ooh, okay, I just peeked back at this wrist and I absolutely love how that turned out, the like subtlety of it. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here. It's, I think the most intimidating part for me, at least what I'm learning about alcohol markers, is the initial stage where it hasn't dried down yet and it looks really scary. Like that looks very stark and then this looks very soft over here. And that's kind of what freaks me out. I'm actually gonna do a little bit of red on this elbow and then just blend that all the way out. Yeah, that looks horrible. That looks like a mess, but I'm slowly gaining confidence that as it dries down, it will look better. Might have gone maybe a bit too far with the collarbones. I was kind of testing myself to see how well I could blend this, but in doing so, I might have taken things a bit too far. We'll see when it dries. Okay, now for the cheeks. Much more confident in myself now that I see how the rest of this piece has turned out. That might have been a little far. Might have taken the redness of this cheek a little too far in. It's fine, we'll just adapt and overcome. She kind of looks a little bit like a panda, but we're getting there. We're learning, we're adapting. Why do I keep doing that? I am so used to like taking markers off and putting the cap on the other side that I forget that these are two-sided. So when I'm done with a marker, I'll like take the cap off one side and then put it on the other. All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and let all that dry and sort of adjust from there. But I really wanna do the hair. And what I wanna do on the hair is a little bit of an ombre. I need to figure out which blue I'm using for the dress. I think I'm gonna use one of the darker ones. So either B18 or B28. Royal blue sounds like a good blue. I don't wanna go too dark. The lapis lazuli is a little too dark. So in that case, what I wanna do with her hair is use a lighter blue as kind of a gradient going up from the bottom, and then the top of the hair will be black. And I think this is gonna be a little easier since hair is a little bit more forgiving than skin is. So just gonna start from the bottom here and kind of swipe up. Ooh, it was a little more pigmented than I was expecting. I am a little scared of the black though. Technically I don't have black, I have like a really, really dark gray, but I'm a little scared that it's gonna be a bit overwhelming. So I'm gonna try and bring this blue up as much as possible and then just color the gray over it wherever necessary. Kicking myself for forgetting to put like a shine mark in the middle there, but I'm gonna try and remember to do that for the bangs at the very least. I just want to put a little bit of blue pigment on the bottom of the bangs, and I'm making sure not to bring it too far up so that I can get like a good shine line across the bangs, which is basically a highlight. It's where the highlight is the most intense on the hair. And then I'll leave the top because I want to do the top of the bangs in that black color. But I am gonna put a little bit of blue in these buns because like she's taking up the length of her hair and putting it into buns. So some of this part that's at the bottom should be showing through. Here we go. And now I think we can use the black, which the darkest one I have, well, let's see here. I've got B99, which is agate, and it's actually more of like a blue color. And then I've got the 110, which actually that is black. That's not gray. It actually says black on there. Should I use black? You know what? I'm gonna use black, but I'm only gonna do like the roots in black. And I think I might use this agate to blend it all the way down. So just the very, very roots of the hair are going to be in that solid black color. And then let's see what happens when I blend it down with the B99 agate color. Okay, the agate's a little juicier than the light blue, so I gotta be a little careful of that. But I think that looks good. Should I leave that shine line there or should I blend it all the way down? I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. Can always blend it down later. Oh, I got a little on the skin. Downside of traditional art, there is no undo button. So if you make a mistake, you make a mistake. I think I am gonna blend that up, but I'm going to use a darker blue. I'm gonna use the lapis lazuli, just sort of blend that through. Because the agate was a little too wet, like there was too much ink in there for it to blend seamlessly. The sky blue is the one that doesn't have a lot of ink in it. So I'm actually gonna use that to just do some blending. I think that looks cool though. Oh, that's gonna look so good. Black, gotta be really careful around her face here. Again, just pull that down with the agate. I wanna try and keep the darker colors away from the dress as much as possible because I know the dress is gonna be a really dark blue. So I wanna make sure there's enough contrast in the hair that it doesn't blend into the dress. Actually, I think what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna use the agate at the very, very tippy top of the bangs here instead of the black, because I wanna leave enough room for that shine line. And as we can see, the agate is not blending out very nicely, so I'm going to take my sky blue again and blend that down. Ooh, as best I can. It's still got a pretty hard line there, huh? There we go. Okay, I like that. I'm a little sad that I screwed it up on the backs of the hair, but at least I got it on the bangs. Do you like my marker sorting technique, by the way? I got tired of pulling the caps on and off, so I'm just keeping them in my hands. All right, hair check. Hair is gorgeous. I keep forgetting she had the jewelry on her ears. I'm actually gonna take my darker yellow to color that in, just to hopefully make it look like gold. There we go. And then looks like the last thing to do is the dress. I think this is going to be done with the lapis lazuli, was that right? No, royal blue is what I was gonna do it with. Now, again, I am very new at this, so I was very messy around the edges here, but I'm gonna try and keep as much of a highlight as possible on the sleeves. Should I do the sleeves the same color? Actually, second guessing myself. I haven't done any of the gray. Should I do gray, maybe? Is that too plain? I just feel like blue on blue is gonna be a lot. Let's try doing the sleeves in a gray color. Okay, I don't hate it. In fact, it kind of complements the gray tones that are already in the line art, like the trim of the dress and the bow and everything. And I'm just kind of following the line art here to get these streaks. And then I'm gonna take the lighter gray and kind of buff those out a little bit, hopefully. Ooh, I forgot to leave a highlight. Oh well. Okay, it's not exactly what I was going for, but I kind of like it. I think I am just gonna color in these screen toned parts as well because they're looking a little messy. And we'll do the same thing on the other sleeve. Oh my God, I really feel like a toddler with how much trouble I'm having staying inside the lines. But I know it's just because I'm not used to drawing like this. Specifically, I'm not used to drawing so zoomed out, for lack of a better word. And I am used to going very quickly with my coloring because I usually have an undo button. Okay, I'm not 100% sure if I like that, but I do like the fact that it contrasts from the hair. I think if I had done blue, it would have blended into the hair too much. I think to kind of carry the gray into the rest of the dress, I'm gonna do the ruffles at the bottom in that same gray color. And then the rest of the dress, the background of the stars and the background of the moon and everything are going to be in blue. So I'm just gonna do something like this for the ruffles. And then I'm thinking I'll just blend it all the way out with the lighter gray marker. And then I'll go back in and do some shading with the dark gray once it's all blended. Part of the reason I'm having a hard time staying inside the lines too is because I'm trying to keep the book stationary so that it's in view of the camera. Normally I would be flipping the book all around to get the best angles, but that wouldn't be as pleasant to watch. I'm actually gonna try and use that colorless blender again on the edge of the skirt because I wanna get a little bit of white in there. So I'm just gonna go along the edge and kind of see what this does. I'm trying to do like a gradient on the ruffles to get from a dark, dark gray to a more light gray. I think that's working. Is this what the colorless blender is for? Is it supposed to blend out into white? I've got a lot to learn. I actually think that looks pretty good though. I don't think there's any need to add any shading on that. All right, well, the last step it looks like is the dress. So I have a feeling my desk cam camera is about to run out of battery. So I think I'm going to speed through coloring in the dress. I'm gonna get as much of it done as possible until this thing runs out of battery. And then I'll be back later tonight to see you guys off, okay? See you soon. guys, welcome back. So this piece is finished. Let's talk about it a little bit. First things first, I did use my Micron and I did my signature black outline around the whole piece for two reasons. Mainly to cover up the areas where I went outside the lines. Second reason, it just feels more like a me piece when it has that black outline, so I wanted to add it. And I ran into a couple issues coloring the dress. First of all, the lapis lazuli Copic marker that I was planning to use to color in the dress was very juicy. It was not letting me get around the stars at all. I don't know if you can tell, they're still not great, but I switched to the royal blue Copic, which was a little less fresh, and it did allow me to kind of navigate the stars a little better. I somehow ended up with this like cloud pattern on the dress. I don't know how well you can see that, but I don't know how I did that, but I really like it. Yeah, overall, actually relatively happy. I have played with Copic markers exactly one time before, and it did not turn out nearly as well as this one did. I think it was the paper that I was working on. I must have been working on like drawing or sketch paper or something, not nearly as sturdy as this one. Speaking of the paper though, I did take a sneak peek at the next page, and unfortunately there is some bleed through. Obviously you can see the bleed through on the piece that I was working on very clearly. And considering how much color is on this side of the page, I'm actually really surprised that there doesn't seem to be a whole lot on the page that was behind it. The most telling part is definitely the rim of the skirt here, the little ruffles, and I think that's because I used the colorless blender to kind of blend that out a little bit. So I think that made the ink bleed through a little bit more, because I used the same exact markers on the sleeves, and there's no gray where the sleeves would have been. There's a little bit of spotting on the blue. Like I said before, that lapis lazuli marker was real juicy, and then just a couple little spots where the skin kind of bled through. Must have overdid it a little bit. I think this is the elbow, and then I think that's one side of the collarbone. But overall, really impressed with how well the paper held onto the ink. I think maybe just for future ones, all I need to do is stick a sheet of, doesn't even need to be like high quality paper, it could just be sketch paper in between the piece that I'm working on and the piece behind it, and should be good to go. Like if that's all that bled through, I'm really happy about that. And what else? I think my one and only criticism of this book is that some of the designs might be a little too complicated for amateur marker users, because as you can see here, I definitely was not able to get in between those stars at all. I think I colored over every single one of them, but at the same time I also like colored outside the lines on spaces that were really big and straight lines. So I don't know, could be skill issue. I think I would just recommend, if you're just starting out coloring, to maybe go with a simpler piece first, one with less small details, and then work your way up to the smaller detailed pieces. I thought this was gonna be a simple piece. I didn't really consider the fact that the stars being so close together was gonna be really hard to get the spaces in between. Overall though, I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with the piece. I'm happy with myself for being able to make something like this. I think it's so cool. Very happy with the book, obviously. So proud of Kara for having put this together. It is absolutely amazing. If you do want to get this book for yourself, it is the Galaxy Gals Alcohol Marker Coloring Book by Kara Ann Aldridge, also known as Creative Kara Online. She has put her heart and soul into this book over the past year. I am so proud of her once again for coming out with this. It is $20 on Amazon and well worth it. Look at all the pages that you get, and thick paper, like almost cardstock thick. Easy A on this one. I'm gonna go ahead and post the colored page that I did from this book on my Instagram if you want to check that out. I'm also gonna see if I can put together a TikTok out of the footage that I got from this. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure how the format's gonna work. If you want to see more of me, you can find me live streaming over on Twitch. I do Digital Art Tuesday and we play games every Friday. And lastly, if you want to support me in the best way possible, you can head on over to my Patreon and check out the different tier options over there. You can support me for as little as $1 a month and get exclusive content for as little as $3 a month. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to find your way back here for next week's video. The video I have planned for next week is going to be another digital art video, but I'm not quite finished with this book yet, so we might see a bit more of it in the future. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. I love you all. Bye!